this week's episode of Role4Recap. I am going to be your host, Bright, and I am here with Blood and Darkness. How are you two doing today?
Not too bad yourself.
Doing well. And you,
Yeah.
Darkness?
Yeah, I'm good. I am
Excellent.
loving Blood's new glasses.
Aren't they cute?
They are
Yeah.
super cute. I do love them. Um, but these two are also characters and players in our Breaking Character campaign. Why don't you two introduce your characters a little bit?
For sure. So I am Bloodless King. I play Finrana Edsith, a Kalshatar bard who thinks entirely too much and not not well though. I
It's
think
pretty
the
accurate.
youngest person on the team, but somehow the one who is in charge. Not really.
Only as far as like the lumen stuff
Mm-hmm.
goes, you know. It's all good. And then
Yeah.
Darkness, tell us about Granny.
Well, I play the lovable Granny, Ramita Thornstep, the halfling barbarian who is spicy, to
Spicy.
say the least, um, but also loving and cares for the people she's with, probably a little too much to the point that they're ready to soccer.
That's pretty accurate. Spicy and
Never.
spiky. But we're
Very
going to
spicy.
be recapping episodes 23 through 28 of our session. So if you are wanting to get the full drama of everything, the full span of what we will be talking about, those videos are up on our YouTube page, and you can absolutely feel free to watch them on our YouTube, which is Roll for Respawn. So we will get right into it. So in these sessions, the party embarked on a journey to Trihorn Ninor and face various challenges. Fen discovers a mysterious email from Viper that gave them special powers. The party then explored a temple dedicated to a dark queen and engaged in a ritual to question a fellow comrade's spirit and encounter clergymen with potential leads. Dreams and alternate realities unfold later on, involving all the party members and revealing personal experiences and confrontations. Um, the narrative includes encounters with monsters and a firefight in a futuristic city. Nash's parole officer complicates matters during all of this, and Boston faces revelations about Father Tobias and Marcel from the Church of Lathander. These sessions explore interpersonal dynamics, past traumas, and the complex relationships within the party, and it involves investigations, pranks, apologies, and preparations for the future adventures that we will be going over. So, Darkness, why don't you kick it off with session 23?
Okay, so we get there, and it was actually Ramita that received the email from Viper. Um, it was kind of like a heads up. Hopefully, this helps because Granny let them in on a little bit of something, something. Um, anyway, so the initiating journey. We arrive at the temple dedicated to the Dark Queen, who is Ramita immediately started um, kind of dissing, saying that her wife was a lot prettier, where they interacted with hooded figures and clergymen. Clergymen. The clergymen
Clergy.
guide them to a ritual room to communicate with Scully's spirit. They are able to ask 5 questions, revealing information about Scully's powers and location. They are led to their quarters and they have an adventure exploring staircases and dark cottage like rooms. After updating Boston on the events, the party rests and Finrana plans to contact the twins in the room back at their hotel for a mission relating to the children of Woolhall.
kind
Didn't we waste some of the questions on Scully?
No, actually we didn't. We did get them off relatively okay. Um I mean like as okay as we could possibly get them. And I think at the if I remember correctly, we had like an extra one at the end that we were just like, what the fuck else do we ask him?
Sounds like every kind of D&D party. You know, we all kind of just like we're all like, okay, we have these really smart questions. What's your favorite color?
What's your
And they're all
favorite
like,
color?
What's
red.
needed?
Back to death.
Yeah,
Um,
that was that was a fun one. I remember Nash was like really terrified of the entire area and
Mm-hmm.
death, but like Fen and Granny were just like,
Yeah,
My
no,
God,
the
spoopy.
the entire area was kind of like a playground for Fen because like coming from Auroran, a lot of the stuff is less so like religiously based and stuff like that. It is a
mm-hmm.
lot more high tech and naturalistic, yes, but also I don't want to say out of the norm for magic, but also magic isn't as practiced, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's like all over
Yeah,
this world. Is it tech has mostly taken over and magic has kind of hit the back roads. Um,
it's like a backup.
yeah, and therefore even more so, religious or yeah, religious magic. I can't remember what it's called.
Divine.
Divine, that's the one. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Divine magic is something that really isn't known to Fen, so they were absolutely enthralled by everything going on here.
Yeah, and this group encounters a lot of kind of religious activity, so to speak, in these kind of beginning sessions as they
Mm-hmm.
explore a cult, and then deal with Boston's church a whole lot, and also technically Nash's church as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely a eye-opening experience onto what could happen, for sure. And speaking of what could happen, Blood, do you want to segue us to the next one?
So that night, Fen didn't go to sleep because one, they had started talking to the twins, and two, they had to make sure that all the paperwork for everyone was filed. Um, so Fen woke up a little bit, well, didn't wake up, but like the next morning, they were a little bit sleepy. Only to find out that the others had been trapped in their sleeps due to a combination of the technology and the Death Church powers. It kind of created this weird rift to the dream world, dream plane. The matron mentions the rare occurrences of such events, meaning once again, it's a common thing here. So Fen and Baldric attempt to find ways into the sleeping mines. Rick experiencing dreams for the first time and takes a ring from Boston's pocket. So Rick and Fen both go on this journey sent by the Death Queen, Dark Queen's clergymen, following the lights representing the dreams of the sleeping party members. Ramita's dream involves a family reunion at the beach, which was really sweet. Uh, However, causing distress in Ramita at the prospect of potentially leaving. Uh, Nash's was more of a glamorous party telenovela sort of vibe that was absolutely amazing. But as always, as it is with telenovelas and us, a conflict arose and we had to fight something. And that's pretty much, I think, where it ended.
Yeah. And that episode was absolutely wild.
It
I
was so
mean,
great.
It
like
was an amazing episode.
I remember reading Brett's notes about it, and then it goes, Baldric dreams for the first time? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Because he's an automaton, and
Mm-hmm.
like, no one, no, like, they don't dream.
No.
Um, and so it was very interesting, and considering Fenn's affinity for things of that nature,
Yeah.
it definitely was a crazy time.
It was like,
How did,
hmm?
oh, what were we gonna say?
It was very much two opposite spectrums because Fen is one obsessed with the dreamscape
Mm-hmm.
because of their past dreams and their interactions with it, which I'm sure is what you were going to ask about. And Baldric being on the complete opposite spectrum of never dreaming before, never actually sleeping before, just kind of shutting down overnight to charge. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was kind of a funny dynamic.
Yes, absolutely. But what is Fenn's kind of affinity for the dream world? Or do we want to wait until we get to the next episode? I think that would actually be really cool.
We can definitely wait. I
All
can
right.
I can hold off on that
Um,
one.
yeah, but otherwise, Ramita's dream, how did Granny feel about all of that after waking up? Because that seems a little
I
sad, a
didn't
little
remember.
traumatic to be pulled back.
Yeah, so Granny did not remember. Um, Later on, she has like kind of an epiphany, but right afterwards, she just kind of has a vague feeling of like some sadness and anger.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The anger coming from Boston's dream, but
Mm.
she doesn't remember it. She just wants to hit him.
I feel like
Which,
everyone wants to hit Boston at some point, you
yeah.
know?
That's yeah. I think Fen
So
Um,
it's
did,
really
and then
sad
they
that,
didn't do anything. It didn't do
yup.
anything. Fen is my negative strength score.
yeah.
Yup. But kind of
But
moving on to Boston's dream, in session 25 called Soaps and Secrets, the party woke up and found that three members were still asleep, which was Boston, Nash, and um, was it Ramita that was still asleep? Yeah,
um,
because Rick and Fen were already awake. So the last
yeah, the
three
three of them were still
still
asleep.
asleep.
Um, and we
Um,
kind of just like bopped them because they weren't locked there now. They were
mhm.
just still out.
Yeah, but they kept exploring those dreams and kind of talking them over. But they continued with Nash's dream, which involved a romantic moment between a previous love interest named who revealed that his other name, his born name, was Marcus. As they continued to catch up with them, Nash's lover's ex, Travis, transformed into a monstrous entity that they ended up fighting. And with Baldric, Fen, and Nash taking part in that, they were able to quell the beast and defeat him. In the second round, though, after the initiative was rolled, Nash was able to come back to reality after he dealt that final blow, which was very epic, if I remember correctly.
It was.
um,
He had the telenovela flair the entire time through the fight. It was great.
Absolutely, like the fan with the hair
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And then once that happened, Ramita and the others were lifted into the sky, witnessing a giant swirling mass and a red dot chasing them. Fen managed to pull them away and updated Nash on the situation of what was going on in this dreamscape. And then they delved into Boston's dream, discovering a loud firefight in a city symbolic of loyalist, with abandoned buildings and deserted streets. Approaching the bank, the party faced a firefight involving some cops, in which Nass disguised himself as one, and Ramita noticed Viper with her parole officer, and a pursuit ensued. During this, Boston got shot, and a cop chased after him. But Nash and Fen attempted to intervene, but Boston seemingly killed Fen in a very dramatic, "You'll never get me!" No.
To be
Killed
fair, I
Fen.
was dressed as a cop, and he
That's fair.
thought I was coming for him. So, like, I
That.
get it, but also, god damn it.
yeah.
And with that kill, it snapped him out of the dream. And as they exited, Baldric had no memory of the events, while Nash and Romina just kind of felt it was a dream. They were like, it's a dream, crazy. Meanwhile, Boston and Fen recalled everything, um, and they ended up just casually going to breakfast, um, which was
Yeah, super
absolutely
casually.
insane. I
Um,
remember in the next couple sessions afterwards, Fen absolutely dangled that over Boston's
you
head.
killed
Was
me.
just like, "You killed me. I get you. You need to princess me, please and thank you." I remember Brett being like, "I love them and I hate them at the same time," and I was just like, "I know you do."
I mean, like, never again could Fen ever hold that over somebody's head. You killed me in your dream, actively seeing my face, murdered me, only for me to, one, punch you and do nothing to you. Which sucked so much from my side of things, because that was the first time that Fen ever punched somebody in campaign, and that's when I realized, oh, I suck at physical combat. Lovely.
How's that 8 in strength doing, homie?
Dude, it's so bad.
It's
Girl, same.
wonderful. It makes it so much better because it's just leads on to the joke of them just being the brains.
Yeah,
Well, not
no.
being the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All they have is brain, bruh.
And then
Reba.
with them going to breakfast, Darkness, do you want to kind of follow up with the next episode?
So Fen follows Charlotte, witnessing the shrines being cleaned off and assisting in the kitchen. The group discusses their dreams, and Charlotte escorts them to Fen in a gazebo-like area where they have breakfast with the Bodega Street team. Boston checks for poison, and Fen explains the events and how they were murdered by him. Boston denies it and gives Fen his gun, suggesting they take the shot if needed. Fen receives two messages, one from the twins and another one from her professor in Ithros. Fen can't travel to Woolhall due to paperwork delays. Nash realizes he needs to talk to his parole officer urgently, as he has to be in Ithros in 2 days. Fen claims Rick as their write-off,
Which, by
and
the way,
Boston
is the
receives a
most.
message from Tobias. So basically, Fen owns Rick now.
It's so awkward. I hate it.
Um,
Because, Rev
Boston's
exploits the heck out of it.
Boston's message from Tobias was that he wanted to see him urgently. The party gathers Scully and reaches the capital of Vorak. Ramita and Nash stay at the hotel, experiencing friendly staff because they love Granny and they are head over heels with Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the twins' bedroom is repaired, and Fen and Rick go to the sheriff's department to drop off Scully's body. Security is heightened, and they visit the morgue. The imposter is dead, and Fen explains the situation to an officer. The cult investigation reveals orders from a different cult dealing with kids, and 16 children are affected. Boston goes to the church, finding Father Tobias. His office slightly ajar. Entering, Tobias reveals he's stepping down and getting married to Marcel, who will take his place. Marcel apologizes, but Boston walks off and Tobias chases after him. Marcel mistakenly thought Boston and Tobias were together, which is what led to his hostility towards Boston in the first place. Jealousy never leads to the right place.
That was
Yep.
such out of left field, honestly.
It
I
really
love
was.
it, but also.
I remember, I was watching that kind of just passively, it was in the
Mhm.
background. I was playing a game on my phone, doing something, and then I hear, yeah, we're getting married. Eyes immediately to the screen. I was like, excuse me? Are you serious? And I remember watching Brett's face go, huh? Like, want to run that by me again, homie? What
Donc quoi?
do you mean? That was a whole thing. Oh my goodness. I remember y'all talked about that for days afterwards. That was a whole thing in between sessions too,
Yeah.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Mhm.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
That was one of the biggest shocks I feel like we experienced.
Which is so
Straight up
weird that
plot
that was
twist.
the big one.
Right?
But yeah, and
Oh, you
also
have,
one thing that I do want to add is the twins referenced in this one are the twins that we found, Xylo and Milo.
Yes.
Yeah, not the
Not my twin
necromantic.
siblings.
Yes. That was something that I was like, ooh, we need to differentiate these. But then I was like, no one needs to know what their names are. They'll go to the episode for that. And I was like, we got two sets of twins up in here.
We got the twins. It's fine. Because there's
They
Xylo and
run.
Milo and then Zim and... I can't remember my younger siblings' names.
Then
I
Which is funny because they both rhyme too.
Uh-huh.
So you heard it here, folks. If you end up having twins, you must make their names rhyme.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
It's
they're not
necessary.
really twins.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make the rules. We just follow them. But what were you going to say, Darkness? Blood, if you want to bring us into the next one, ironically named Twinning.
Ha! There we go. So by that next episode, we had gone for alcohol. So Ramita got us a couple of things of alcohol. Boston got whiskey, and she had gotten wine for Fen. And then we had gotten back to the hotel with Milo and Xylo feeling a little unwelcome. And then Fen starts revealing plans for, the rest of the group. Or revealing our plans to Milo and Xylo, because they are part of the getting everything ready part.
Mm-hmm.
Boston enters unaware of the twins and starts casually threatening to scare them off, which was awkward. Oopsie daisies, we forgot to tell the bounty hunter. The bar, which we kind of did explode on him unjustly because he was in the right because we didn't tell him about Milo and Xylo being there, and then he's like, "Oh snap," and we're like, "Oh snap." And then Ramita is actually the one who tried to mediate for us.
One of the barbarians, mediator.
Mm-hmm.
That should explain how well it went.
Siblings.
Yeah.
We are all just like chaotic siblings. So Boston and Ashley have a heart-to-heart about Boston's issues involving Marcel, Tobias, and the church itself. Meanwhile, Baldric and Fen apologize to Milo and Xylo. It doesn't go exactly well, though. Fen and Xylo catching up on old times as we are walking them down to the Rickmobile to take them to a different location. I can't remember exactly where they were going. Discussing their future plans and the cult. During the break, Fen talks to Milo, explaining about an EMP and a jailbreak, which the members of the cult were involved in earlier. The party then reaches the Temple of Lythander, where the twins are dropped off. That's right, they were going to Lythander. Fenrana congratulates Tobias and Marcel, seemingly to be mean to Boston. That is fair. He had pissed me off recently. It's fine. The twins go into their room, and Fen inquiring about Baldric's past. Baldric gives a very brief version, mentioning the Astar family, which is a large tech manufacturer in Itheros. The party reconvenes, and Boston apologizes to Fen and Baldric, and Nash suggests pulling pranks. The cowboys try and explain pranks to Baldric, but they also find that Fen's title is Lumen. So that's I think the first time Lumen is mentioned.
Yes. It's definitely, it was something very interesting to find out as a watcher. And I remember watching all of this because hence last episode with the big marriage reveal. I was like, what's gonna happen? And then all of this, I remember being like, well, that's not fair. He didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because y'all laid into him. There was like a good 30 minutes, I think, of gameplay.
There was a hot minute of us going, Boston, no! And he's like, what the fuck?
Like, there are children here. Where did they come from?
And they're not children, because Xylo and Milo are Fen's age, because Xylo was a classmate of Fen's.
I
Yeah.
forgot that detail because I guess I automatically think of them as children because
Yeah.
of your siblings.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's what
and
happens.
Milo was in prison.
Wild.
No, Milo was in prison. Xylo was the classmate.
I think that's what they said.
Oh, did he? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Milo.
I'm
Unless
sorry.
To be fair,
There is
their
one
names
letter
are
difference.
essentially their names are essentially interchangeable.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that episode was a emotional roller coaster
It really
for
was.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy one.
Yeah, but then after that, it looks like the next session is exactly what the party was doing, and they were on the road again. Darkness, you want to lead us out?
Yeah, after all the chaos, the reason I just want to point out before I start, Granny got Boston a nice bottle of whiskey as a
That's
I'm
right.
sorry that
Yes.
your old person that you looked up to
Your father is
thought you
getting
were
married.
attractive and was getting married to the person that absolutely hates you and you hate back.
It was pity
and then the bottle of
booze.
wine was pity booze. And the wine for Fen was a sweet white to try to get Fen to drink something because Fen hadn't had anything. And as we know, but if the audience is still learning, Granny really likes her alcohol.
Listen, you got to break that sobriety at some point. In D&D, not IRL. Stay sober if you're on that path. We're proud of you. We love you. And only you specifically.
Specifically.
I'll pull a rev here.
Our favorite.
Okay, so on the road again. They prepared to leave town. Fen sends an email to the professor, and Sheriff Giff provides a case file confirming the children's safety, except for Trixie and Danielle.
Danielle.
On the road, they encounter a fallen tree, and after resolving the issue with animals attacking, they proceed to Ithros.
I forgot about the fucking gorilla.
Yeah, the fight. Only 2 of them went to it. Like, there was a fallen tree and a bunch of traffic, and like we're sitting in the car, like, what the hell's taking so long? And then Boston and Nash are like
fighting a fucking gorilla.
Yeah.
Those are freaking gorilla.
No
way.
Like,
I don't remember this.
Then they get back to the vehicle and traffic starts again. Afterwards, they head to Boston's office where he offers it as a personal base. The party discusses the dangers Boston faces due to the bounty on Rick. Afterward, they go to Boston's apartment, finding it larger than expected, but also pretty small compared to what Fen expected specifically.
I'm a rich kid. I'm so sorry.
You're all like, this is the kitchen. And he's like, yeah, the kitchen's right there. And the living room's right here in the same room. It's called a studio.
Yeah.
Basically.
Meanwhile, Nash, Fen, and Ramita go shopping for groceries and other items, picking up segues along the way. Granny wanted to cook everyone food, and the
Boston
segues
had no
were
food.
a lot of fun. Yeah, Boston had 0 food. Maybe it was like a bachelor's fridge, you know, like a couple of beers and maybe some like frozen like
stuff. The
freezer
meals.
burned food in the freezer.
Like those like friggin' pre-packaged like country fried steaks that you get at the grocery store.
Yes.
And they're always discounted because no one wants to buy them.
Or like the Salisbury steak lunches.
Yeah.
Next, we visit Gadgets and Apothecary, where Fen explains spellcasting to Nash.
That's right.
I think that was afterwards.
Well, no. So it did start outside of the house. He was like, hey, so like, can you explain magic to me real quick? And Fen was like, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, and then he went on and like crazy explained to it later. Boston and Baldrick have a conversation about ownership and religion and Boston's relationship with the gods and his former master.
Lots talking.
Do not remember that conversation in the slightest.
Which conversation?
Boston and Baldrick's. I remember Fen and Nash's.
I remember vaguely Boston and Baldrick's because it was very much they had stayed at home and they kind of did this role play thing of, if I remember correctly, it was Boston asking Baldrick how he feels about being owned by Fen.
That's like exactly, I can guarantee you that's probably correct, because that's exactly the kind of crap that Boston would just be like, so I've been shit-talked by them all weekend. Let's do some more. You are their bitch.
You're their bitch.
Taste?
Something around that end. But yeah. And it kind of somehow turned into Baldrick talking to Boston about like the deities and stuff like that.
Deep detail.
We love a good special interest. What?
What? You go.
I was just gonna say we love a good special interest info dump mid-session.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it seems like in Boston's apartment, most of the revelations of everyone's past kind of happened.
We did. There was a lot of uncovering and like getting to know each other in this because like up until this point we had known each other for max a fucking week.
Mm-hmm.
Like in
Yeah.
character. That was it. It was literally I met them when a church blew up around them. And then we found a cult.
It's a wild ride, y'all.
It's been a freaking
Sure.
crazy ride.
Yeah, and what we're going to be talking about in the next sessions is definitely how the party got to know each other a bit better, because that is where our next arc starts.
Yeah.
It is a super cool episode of Role4Recap if you want to be there. It will have me and Tony and Brett, I believe, and we're going to be going over the next arc in the series. But thank you two so much for joining me and taking this time to explain this to our audience. We really appreciate you. And where can we find y'all in case that it needs to happen?
But yeah, I am Bloodless King. You could find me here on Roll for Respawn. I'm on Breaking Character, Thirsty Gay Thursday, and most of the Wonderariums. And then, you know, I am a PNG tuber over on my own Twitch. Under this name. I'm pointing at in the recording. There's a thingy here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, there's that. We vibe.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah.
I am Hello Darkness Mayo. I am an exclusive on Respawn, because I don't do anything else. Other than that, this is pretty much the only place you'll find me. I'm on the regular story and am going to be joining Thirsty Gay Thursday.
Yes, you
Hey,
are. So excited for
it's
that.
so good.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
great.
and with the pupper on screen now, as always, I am your host, Bright. I am also only here on Roll for Respawn. I don't really do all that much else. But if I am, I'm more than likely on my husband's channel, just Brett with 3 T's. But otherwise, again, I am here doing Roll for Recap as well as on Thirsty Gay Thursday, and occasionally on the One Shot Wonderarium that you can catch every other Saturday. But otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you, and we're so grateful to be able to share this story with you guys. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.